Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about late night TV because somebody has to talk about late night TV. All the shows are on pause. They're on hiatus because the writers are on strike. And now the writers of these dying late night shows are worried that they're facing oblivion. Now, here's the thing. Before the writers' strike, they were kind of facing oblivion.
Right.
Because late night TV is not very popular.
Well, I think it's funny they get these comedians and stuff to host late night TV, but they have to have writers to write all their material.
Yeah, I know.
I always thought that was funny. Like ironic. But they're talking about being fake.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think what is going to happen, and I've said it in other videos talking about the writer's strike, is I think studios, companies are going to use the strike as a way to get rid of or cancel shows that they were going to cancel anyway, and now they have a reason to. Like, well, the writer's strike's gone on too long, and we can't really fire up the machine again, so I guess you're all gone. Mm-hmm. You're all gone, because they talk about how ridiculously expensive these late night shows are and how little return they get.
Well, and the hosts are probably a big part of it, and like they're not even writing their own shit.
Well, they talked about that. There were multiple articles out there. Even the New York Times said part of the problem with late night TV is it's not for everybody anymore because they went all in on being anti-Trump. Mm-hmm. Now Trump's out of office, so all those people you brought in because, Trump. Well, the Trump train has pulled out of the station, and now it's just they're kind of scrambling, trying to do more political jokes. When it used to be they'd make fun of celebrities, but you can't make fun of celebrities now because you got to be chummy with them. Right? You don't shit where you eat. So we're going to talk about this shit, and then we're going to talk about the strike, and there have been some developments with the actors now. They're prepared to strike too. And again, I wish you luck. I do. I'm not. I will say it for the 15th time for those of you in the back who can't hear or will not hear. We're not anti-union, but I think some of the asks are ridiculous, especially when it comes to the writers. Wanting 20 writers in the writer's room and wanting to make sure there's a certain ethnic makeup in the writer's room and all this stuff. That is not reasonable, I don't think. But before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo. Woohoo! So this is coming from Deadline. Late night comedy writers are facing oblivion if the WGA loses the strike. Guild negotiating committee member Greg Iwinski says, they said they're facing oblivion. Now, he's a former writer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Last Week Tonight, that's like Clownfish TV. We're like Last Week Today. That's what we're going to rename the show. With John Oliver. Friends and sometimes reporters ask me why the writers are still so fired up, so visible, and so united 2 months into the strike. My answer is easy. When the alternative is oblivion, what else can you do but fight like hell?
The alternative is oblivion. That means you're obsolete.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, so
what would you guys say a few years ago? I know, learn to code.
So he hosts a weekly all-volunteer YouTube channel comedy show. But they have to make sure they get that in there. He hosts a weekly all-volunteer, so he's not getting paid.
But if they are getting money, where's the money going?
That's a good question. Where is the money going? Because, YouTube runs ads. Somebody has to be getting
Because it's all volunteer. It's allowed under the strike rules. Yeah,
it's perfectly legal. He said a key fight in the strike is over the future of Appendix A in an industry dominated by streamers. They said that Appendix A and the Guild's contract covers almost everything that isn't a movie or an episodic TV show, including late night, soap operas, quiz, and variety shows. Currently, when we work for subscription streaming services, our minimum pay is completely negotiable, and our residuals are insufficient.
Well, I don't disagree with him on the residuals thing. I've said that for many times.
They have used streaming as a loophole to get out of paying people residuals.
And I agree with them that needs to be fixed.
The company responds to our proposals to extend television terms to cover these kinds of shows on what are now the dominant platforms for content these days was unacceptable. They would extend some terms to cover only comedy variety shows and only offer a weekly minimum rate, while allowing writers to be hired at a day rate, all at budget levels that exclude too many shows. The problem is, again, these streaming shows aren't generating the kinds of revenue that a network TV like sitcom or late night show or something. You know what I'm saying? Like the economy is not there.
But wait, this part here, okay? also Appendix A writers, without fair compensation, okay, on the largest entertainment platforms in the world, where they have already short 13-week cycles are replaced by week-to-week or day-to-day contracts in a world where writers don't have enough job security to get approved from an apartment in the cities where these shows are made. Well, then don't be a writer. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of jobs. It's a gig economy. It sucks. It's not just writers. It's the same for actors, for extras. It's the same in industries outside of Hollywood. I can tell you for a fact that there's a lot of people that you know, when it comes to, you know, marketing especially, you get contracts for like a one-day thing, or like you have just one project, and if you don't have and after that you don't know what you're going to get. That's reality for many people, not just you.
So what smart people do, or smarter people do, is they realize that they are working in a gig economy. They set up a company and they become an employee of their company that provides entertainment services. So you're on a payroll, so you can show that I work for whatever writing LLC.
Doesn't matter though, they're not getting gigs to pay for it. So
well,
basically,
then you're going to have to go find some more work.
We were given 13-week contracts. So what's that, like 3 months? We were given 3-month contracts before. And now we're not even getting that. Now we're week to week or day to day. You mean like other people in Hollywood? You mean like Uber drivers, other people, you know, around the world that, you know, don't have, and it sucks. I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is it's the same reality for a lot of people, and they're running into the same situation you're running into, and knowing what you guys get paid in comparison to somebody like maybe that drives for Uber, or you know works for something else, you really, you know, come on.
Oh God, okay, here now you lost me. We're gonna win. Because this is not
win in the end.
This is not just a strike. It's a moment. It is a movement. If you're a millennial, you know that feeling deep inside your gut that a broken system has existed for too long and hurt too many, and that fate has handed you the match to burn it down. That's our moment. If you're Gen Z, sorry about low-rise jeans. We're not perfect.
And if you're Gen X, you think these millennials, these particular people are full of shit. And you're like, suck it up and deal with it.
Everybody forgets we exist.
Yeah, I know. They always talk about boomers and then they skip Gen X. Gen Xers are like, you know, suck it up, buttercup, and then, you know, go do something else.
Yeah, that's what
nobody owes you your dream. If your dream isn't working for you, that's on you.
I don't understand this mentality. And it's the same in comics too. And we're not that much older than millennials. I mean, we're actually, depending on where we're at, we fall in between the two.
The attitude, I guess what puts us off is this attitude that we're seeing from these people, where it's like, I'm a writer. I was hired when there was a glut of writing jobs. There aren't now, but I'm owed something because I'm me. I'm owed, it's basically socialism in action.
No, that's exactly what
I'm owed a job, even though there's not enough room for me. Even though I'm really shitty at my job and that's why no one hires me. You have to hire me to come in the writer's room. And then you get all these writers in there that's going to muck it up and take 10 times longer because they have to make sure that you're hitting up these check boxes, or I'm going to be personally offended about everything type people. I'm offended by everything type people are coming in, and they're demanding. And then when people are like, there's not enough room for you, well, then you need to pay us. You need to pay us living wages, and you need to pay us for 13-week gigs, even though we can't write away a paper bag because, you know, I'm owed it because that's my dream.
Can you imagine, like, I'm trying to think here, like any other industry, like, hey guys, we've chopped down all the trees, so we're gonna have to fire a bunch of lumberjacks because there are no more trees to cut down. Well, that's not fair. We want to negotiate to make sure that you can, you know, every lumberjack keeps their job, and it's like, and what are you gonna do? Because what's going on are these networks, these streaming services, they're cutting back on content because they've overspent. The jobs are not there for you to have.
Right. If you're like, you work in a restaurant and your chain closed 3 restaurants down and there's like 2 left and then everybody's expecting to be employed at those last 2 restaurants, even though there's not enough room for them and there's not enough work for them. And then it's going to drive out of business, and then they're going to have nothing.
Well, that's the thing. And I've seen this happen in real time. I've seen it happen on multiple occasions. A lot of times when, you know, companies or the workers want to unionize at these companies, especially if they're dying. And we're seeing this in journalism right now, especially. It makes the decision to shut the publication down so much easier. It does. It's just like, you know what? It's not worth the hassle to deal with the union. So we'll just shut it down or sell it off so it's no longer our problem, because it's not realistic for us to pay all of these people, keep all these people on and pay them what they want, because the money's simply not there.
And the thing is, you can demand that you want these bigger contracts, but if the gig only lasts like a day, that's all it lasts. There's nothing you can, the best supposed to do, make it last longer just so you get paid more. Like, I'm agreeing with you that they need to do something about the residuals. I'm agreeing with you that they need that there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. That being said, I don't think it's fair to mandate that you should be getting this kind of contract or have this much work, or all you should, even though we only need 10 writers, 20 have to be hired because you said so. That's why you're not going to win. And if it's win or oblivion, then maybe you need a different job.
It's going to be hard for John Q. Public to sympathize with the Hollywood writers who are really angry that they're not getting enough hours writing late night talk shows for thousands and thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to look at this and be like, I got to go,
work 3 jobs.
I got to go haul garbage for a living. I got to go work in some hot factory. And you guys are all bitching that you're not getting enough hours writing a freaking talk show.
A lot of people don't get enough hours at their job and they have to go find another job. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the reality for many people. So, you kind of look like you're entitled whiners.
Yeah. So that's just the kind of the new reality of the way the world is going right now.
Hold on, go back down. Wait. This maddening disrespect for craft, for career, for the dignity of work and the appreciation of a lifetime of skill.
They're not doing themselves any favors.
God, as soon as you have to talk about your job as the craft, I immediately roll my eyes and walk away from you.
This is not doing them any favors at all. They actually look very entitled. A lot of the interviews I've seen, the Adam Conover interviews and all that, it makes them look very out of touch with middle America. It makes them look and people are just like, well, boo-hoo, Hollywood writers, aren't going to get there, however many thousands a week their minimum. You might have to go get a real job. Sorry. And that's how middle America feels. They're just like, we can't sympathize with you. And we don't watch your shit anyway because you've driven the audiences off because you got too political.
Right. And that's why late night is so bad, which I still think is funny because, they have writers for this stuff. And I'm just like, why, if they're comedians and they got hired to host a show, can't they host a show on their own? Other people host daytime shows without people writing all their shit. Yeah,
and this is why, YouTubers and podcasters are kicking your ass because they're writing their own jokes. They're just, off the fly. They're giving people kind of that real connection that they used to have with the old guard late night hosts, who actually were funny. And now, like, it's very obvious Jimmy Kimmel in real life is not funny.
Hold on. The scriptwriter on our table's handed me something. Okay. I have to read. No, I'm kidding.
Right. I fired mine. That's why I'm not as funny as you are. I fired mine a long time ago. He was asking for more money. I said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Here's a sandwich. Go lay down. No, that's not what I did. Anyway, speaking of strikes, before we wrap it up, SAG-AFTRA, this would be the actors.
Yeah, now the actors are going to strike too.
Now I would argue that and look, we talked about this with the directors too. The actors and the directors are more valuable than the room full of activist writers that, and
there's a lot of writers who are worth it. There's a lot more that aren't.
I think
that's the problem.
I think your compensation and your long-term viability need to be tied to what you bring to the table. Just like any other job, if you're not bringing it, you should get paid the same as someone who is bringing it, or you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not fair. That everybody eats off of one guy or girl's plate that's actually bringing it, came up with a good idea, constantly turns out great material that attracts audiences, then everybody else gets to eat off their plate too. That's not fair. Mm-mm. It's not. You do your own shit, Anyway, it emerged that over 300 actors have written to SAG-AFTRA leadership. They're prepared to strike if the guild doesn't get all the way there during the talks with the studios. Now, last week,
we get everything we want or nothing.
Everything, all or nothing.
But to be fair, a lot of the actors that are signing the thing are people who are big name actors who have the money to go all or nothing. Yep. Meanwhile, there's a lot of other actors who get to be part of the Actors Guild to work for a lot of different things who are not in the same position that these people are. That, if they strike for these really, really high up people, that's great. But what about the people that aren't? Well, yeah, because, a lot of these guys they have, she was on The Nanny for years. She has, I'm sure, residuals from that for the rest. I'm sure she's set for life, right? But, yeah, the writers is kind of a different situation. But, again, to the studios, the actors are worth more than the writers. And especially the grunt writers working in the writer's room. They're going to hire the directors that write to the showrunners.
it's basically, I hate to use the term, but Hollywood is going to right size itself at this point. And they're going to be like, what is actually sustainable? Because everything is changing. What is sustainable? And it's going to look like, we're going to have fewer shows, fewer writers, but the stuff we put out is hopefully going to bring more eyeballs, and we're going to spend less money. And that's kind of the name of the game.
Well, they're saying about the people who signed it. They said her signature comes after SAG-AFTRA's two leading political factions have joined forces to form a unity slate to endorse her for re-election.
Weren't they pissed at her because she was pushing for them to drop the vaccine mandates?
Yeah,
that was like a whole thing. So I don't know, guys. I think that they were going to proceed to oblivion. Proceed on your way to oblivion. Proceed to oblivion before the strike, and now the studios are going to look at it and be like, you know what? We don't need Jimmy Kimmel. We don't need Jimmy Fallon. We don't need any of the Jimmys.
Like I said, the directors are getting a deal. The actors that they need want a deal, and then so do the writers. They're gonna go top down.
Yep. So you can always go write books on Amazon.
Go do YouTube. Apparently, that's what you're
doing.
do
YouTube and get paid for it, right? And I don't know. Find something else to do. A lot of people are gonna have to find something else to do. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you're a millennial or not. That's just kind of the way the world works.
Millennial Gen Z thing. I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Try being, and we've seen stories of this, but 10, 12 years ago, lots of people were getting laid off. Remember all those coal miners that were losing their jobs?
That's what I said. And then these people were writing the jokes about learn to code.
Learn to code, right? And these guys were, blue collar dudes in their 50s. Just go retrain. Well, we're telling you the same thing. You're young enough. You can retrain. You're gonna have to find something else to do. I'm sorry. It is what it is. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.